I am Aljuline Diasuelo and I am your teacher in research. So in this video, we're going to talk about survey research. So what do you think is survey research? Well, to understand well, I am encouraging you to watch my video till the end, and I will assure you that you'll learn something. Thank you! Learning objectives, types of research method, survey research and example, types of survey research, importance of survey research, and where survey research is used. What are the types of research method? These are the types of research method. These are the experiment, survey research, observation, case studies, grounded theory, action research, and mixed method. In this presentation, I'm going to focus on the survey research.
Survey. Noun. A questionnaire or similar instrument used for examining the opinions of a group of people. I just filled out that survey on roadside waste pickup.
What is survey research? A survey is a system for collecting information from or about people to describe, compare, or explain their knowledge, attitude, and behavior. Think 2003. Types of survey research. What are the types of survey research? Basic survey research are divided into two types, the cross-sectional surveys and the longitudinal surveys. And longitudinal surveys divided into trend, cohort, and panel. Let's define it individually. So what is cross-sectional surveys? Cross-sectional surveys, it is when the data are collected at one point in a time from a sample selected to represent a larger population. On the other hand, longitudinal surveys are collecting data from multiple subjects on multiple locations, used for collecting data relating to social, economic, educational, and health-related issues. Longitudinal surveys are divided into three, the trend, the cohort, the panel. Trend, it is a survey of sample population at different points in time. Cohort, same population in time data and collected, although sample studied may be different. Panel, collection of data at various time points with the same sample of respondents. Why do you think is survey important? Well, survey is important because it allows the researcher to collect quantitative and qualitative data on many types of research questions. Where survey research is used. Survey research commonly used in explanatory research, descriptive research, and to collect data about people, events, or situations. Survey research example. The example of survey research, for instance, in a business context survey, are often taken as subject consumer decision making, consumer satisfaction, job satisfaction, use of health services, and management information system. A large number of such surveys are one-time surveys. Other surveys are continuing, allowing the researcher to observe changes over time. The question in survey instrument are typically arranged into self-administered questionnaire that the respondents complete his or her own either on paper or by computer. Other survey instruments are interviews and structured observation. Thank you so much for listening. Again, this is Aljulian Azuelo. For more info or for more understanding, just PM me in my FB account or in my Gmail. Thank you.
Surveys, also called questionnaires, offer a standardized method of collecting both quantitative and qualitative data from individuals. A survey can be an excellent tool for gathering information about memories, knowledge, personal experiences, attitudes, and behaviors. The goal of good survey design is to ensure that the data you collect with your survey matches as closely as possible the authentic thoughts, feelings, and interests of your respondents. When a gap opens up between the real views of your respondents and the data that appears in your completed survey forms, this is called response bias. Techniques to minimize response bias have been developed over several decades of social science research, and you can use these techniques to make your survey results as accurate as possible. Your first step in the survey design process is to clearly identify the topic you are looking to investigate with your survey. Your research focus will point you towards the type of survey you should be designing. When you are ready to begin designing specific survey questions, you will need to decide whether to use open-ended or close-ended questions. The type of survey questions you use affects the amount of time required for data analysis. Open-ended questions allow respondents flexibility in how they respond and are useful for exploring new topics. Closed-ended questions offer a choice of pre-selected options. These are easy to administer and easy for respondents to complete, and they are quicker to process and analyze. But to ask closed-ended questions, you need to be able to account for the possible responses your participants might wish to give. Developing good survey questions requires creativity, knowledge about your topic, and vigilance in reducing response bias. Be sure to avoid double-barreled questions that combine two questions in one, and leading questions that reveal what results you are expecting. As you begin preparing your survey form, you will have to make a number of key decisions, including the type of question you will use. You can choose from a level of agreement scales, also known as Likert scales, multiple choice, or open-ended questions. Some survey researchers also use ranked response questions that ask respondents to rank their preferred responses, for example, from 1 to 5. You will need to develop the content and phrasing of your questions. When you are writing your questions, try to put yourself in your respondent's shoes and account for the ways they might misunderstand your questions and response options. Once you have written your initial set of questions, think about how you will sequence them in your survey form. For example, if you have open and closed-ended questions about the same specific topic, ask the open-ended question first, so that the response options you provide in the closed-ended question don't influence the responses. Survey forms require a number of standard features. You normally include the survey form title at the top of the first page. You then have a brief introduction to your research, usually about 1 paragraph in length, that summarizes your research aims, identifies you, and details your sources of funding. You then include your professional contact information, in case your respondent encounters a problem or needs to ask a question. At the end of the survey, you would typically include a concluding statement thanking respondents for participating. As you develop your survey, be consistent in your choice of phrasing and use of terminology. Avoid using too many different question types, such as Likert scale, multiple choice, and ranked response in the same survey, because it takes time and effort to get used to a new question type. Ensure questions are as brief as possible and use plain language. Avoid using jargon and technical terms whenever possible. Minimize ambiguity in the questions and response options by thinking about how they might be interpreted by different people. On a practical level, use clear, legible font, such as Times New Roman or Arial, with at least 12 point size. Also, format your survey consistently, for example, using italics and bold text in the same way throughout the survey. Once you've written your questions, you'll be ready for pilot testing. This involves trialing your test survey on a group of people, ideally from a similar demographic background to your intended respondents. Review the answers they give to ensure the questions are getting at what you are interested in finding out. If possible, make pilot testing an open discussion process where you probe whether respondents found the questions clear or confusing, and why. Survey design requires continual refinement. It is not a linear process, and you will need to circle back to adjust earlier decisions as you move along. Take the feedback from pilot testing seriously and refine your questions. You may decide that you need to do another round of pilot testing if you needed to make a lot of changes in the first round. To summarize, the core of the survey design process involves a cycle of writing draft instructions, survey questions, and survey responses for respondents, critically evaluating what you've written, revising questions, pilot testing, and making further adjustments. This process delivers a well-developed survey design with the best chance of accurately gathering the data you need.